you get it? Is it on?
Welcome to another episode of Taking Over the World with Ed and Aaron. What's up, buddy?
Oh, buddy. It's just...
I'm waiting for this one.
It's kind of like the weather, when it rains, it pours, man.
Really?
It's just been good thing after good thing after crazy thing after setback after this and that, and just trying to get the household taken care of, I mean, it's a big week from the real estate perspective from the Ogre Network. I mean, did we close on the commercials yet?
Finally closed on Friday.
Closed.
Late Friday.
Closed
Yes.
there. Big birthday yesterday.
Yes. Big birthday.
Then, I got a buyer consultation meeting that I got to take care of. I got to jump in and take care of the podcast. Got some closings this week. Got a new showing this week. And on top of it, I just got these kids that just...
Come on. Let's jump right into that.
I'm about ready to put them on. I'm about ready to put them on Amazon. It's like all those memes is like, you don't want to be an adult. Like, I'm over being an adult right now. I think my wife's over being an adult right now. At this point, my wife is at work. My father-in-law's watching the kids. I got a buyer consultation and this back home. Try to get one kid back off to school. Convince another one to go to school. Then a meeting at 11:30 and a showing at 3:30. It's like...
It's a great day.
Man, it's just one of those weird things, as a parent you get, as much as the world gets crazy, it's still scary, with like all the COVID stuff and, like none of the other stuff has gone away. You still got your flu, your stomach viruses, all that crap. And It's like, my daughter hasn't gone to school or been able to complete like a full day of school in like 2 weeks. So we're getting her to the doctor, just a throat thing. But, it's like, you're trying to figure this out. Yesterday I come home. Both boys are going to the orthodontist. One of them's getting braces, the young guy, which I think is going to be a problem, right?
Right. And the other one's just getting a consultation.
The other one's going for a consultation. He's got to do phase 2 eventually. And, the debate is Invisalign versus braces. And
okay.
The braces, obviously, you got the big old grill, baby. But the Invisalign is nice, but then they can take it out, which concerns like, okay, this could be a waste of money if you start taking it out of school and stuff. So,
well, you have to take it out to eat.
See, that's the thing with braces you don't have to take out.
Right. So my daughter got Invisaligns before you go on with your story. Got Invisaligns. And then a month or two into it, Invisaligns didn't fit anymore because she wouldn't put them on all the time. So we had to switch to regular braces. So it was double the cost. Mm. I mean, he only charges for what the actual material, because the price of labor is the labor. He's got to see her anyways, for the appointments and stuff like that. But yeah, I that's a struggle. That's a struggle because they're not going to keep them in.
No. And then so I'm like, okay. So ended up, doctor's appointments are too. It's already a rainy day. It's already this. I'm like, whatever. Let's go do it. She'll go with me. We spend 2.5 hours or 2 hours at the doctor's office, right? What is what it is. And I get back. I'm checking out my little guy's teeth, right? Because I'm like, this is going to be interesting. And we like FaceTime him. I want to see him. Like, you'll be pumped on this. I already gave it away. But you know what his colors are he got for the braces?
No, I don't know.
Teal.
Nice.
And
orange.
Dolphin
colors. No way.
The first thing I said, I was like, you got a Miami Dolphin girl.
Nice.
So he's rocking a Miami Dolphin girl right now.
What made him go with those colors?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. So then I'm at the table, right? We're starting to finalize some things. We're starting to settle back in. And just kind of laughing the day off at this point, right? Like, it's raining. Practices have been canceled. It's kind of like, okay, that stinks. But it's kind of like, all right, maybe this is good, right? Because then I came up and did a couple things in the office in the afternoon, took care of some business and stuff. And then they're like, oh, my little guy's like, wait till you see Braxton's braces. And he's laughing at him like, it's hilarious. Like, I know he's got to get him, whatever. And I'm looking at my wife, and she's got like a straight face on, and she doesn't have a very good poker face. Like, if something's up, like
she'll let you know.
My oldest audience, it's like that thing where you ask him 3 times, did you do it? No. Did you do it? No. Did you do it? Yeah. Right? Like, that's all you got to do with her and my oldest, right? And she's got a straight face. And then my little guy's like, no, where do you see Braxton's? And I'm looking at Braxton's like, he's like this. I'm like, not a chance. Like, whatever it is. Then all of a sudden he smiles. He's got braces on.
No way. What color did he go for?
They're just like generic one. I guess they're just like the basic color.
Right.
Because his bite has to go over. So it's like adulting, parenting, boy, it's awesome. But boy, sometimes you're just like, maybe I'm not.
You can't win.
This. I just can't win, dude. And my wife's, like she's working today too. So and she's like, maybe like I can take the day off. It's like, no, you can't take the day off. Like, go do your thing. I was like, my schedule's a little bit more flexible. I had one meeting, wanted to do this, then I can work from home, and
right.
So it's like you do that stuff. So like, now I'm gonna go home, take my daughter back to school. to school, get her out of the house.
Is she gonna go to school?
She is. She looks better. It's just like the morning. I don't get it. That's what's
Maybe she's
weird.
not a morning person.
Maybe I'm gonna start doing that. I'll start telling clients all this. It's not good in the morning. Call me after 10.
Maybe she's just not a morning person. That could
But,
be it.
you know, I mean, it's just like anything. It's like, I think when you look back and you look at these moments and you just, hopefully everybody's healthy. Hopefully everything's going good. You know, it's always that thing. But, you know, hopefully you can just look back and laugh. You know, it's kind of like
You have
the commercial deal. Like,
Right.
as much as I saw you put that thing on, like, CPR, pumping it, and, like, keeping that thing on life alert in our jokes, where it's like, hopefully at some point or maybe this week you can look back at it and just laugh and just be like, I mean, from the day we went to 8 Home Depots picking up 260 smoke detectors, 80 water shots, like, and you just sit back in. Sometimes you just, when it like sinks in, you know?
Well, you know, it's funny because we closed on Friday.
Right.
So Saturday, Friday morning. So let me tell you the whole thing, right? So we know the whole thing with the complications and all the stuff and giving the CPR. So on Thursday we go, and I'm super optimistic. You know me, I'm optimistic. Everything's fine. Nothing's gonna be complicated. I can get everything done easy. So we go to closing to sign right on Thursday, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna sign. It's gonna be, I don't know, an hour and a half, 20 sets of documents.
Right.
Took us 5 hours. I'm like, everybody's like, how long do you think? I was like, oh, I thought about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I remember you thinking, like, I'll be back in like 2 hours.
Yeah, no. It was 5 hours. So the lender was there. My client was there. Obviously, he was signing. We had an assembly line, like the title.
Oh, you got to at that point.
The escrow officer was there the whole time, which is nice because in commercial, the actual escrow officer is there, right?
Okay.
So she's there. She's Brandy Lake. Got to give her mad props because we changed this deal around the way we were constructing it probably 3 or 4 times. So mad props to her. I know it was frustrating and difficult, but she actually got it done. But when we were doing it at the end, like signing, so she was verifying, and then she'd give it to me, and she's like, "Your quality control." So I had to look through every set of documents to make sure that there was no signatures missed, there was nothing, and I got a couple missed signatures and stuff. She goes, "Oh, quality control's doing their job." So we finish, and the lender's like, "Let's go have a drink." I'm like, "I don't want to have a drink."
I want to go to bed.
I was like, "I don't want to have a drink until it's done." They're like, "Come on, it's only one drink." I'm like, "Dude, I'm very superstitious.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's because I played sports and I wrestled, and just I guess athletes are more, or people that have played sports are more superstitious about everything, right? Like, can't celebrate till it's done. Come on, it's only one drink." I'm like, "All right, whatever." And the buyer was like, "Yeah, let's go have one drink." It's never one drink, so we went, had a couple drinks.
The famous
One drink, exactly.
Next thing you know, you show up in your car slow at the bar because you had to Uber home. You're trying to fidget the key into the door to hit the garage code.
You're trying to remember the code.
Right?
Yeah. I didn't drink that much, thank God, but still, it was one of those. So we get done with that. The next day, hell breaks loose again. And the lender calls me. He's like, I think I jinxed it, dude. I'm like, "I told you, man.
We don't. Saturday?
No, on Friday.
Oh,
Because
on
Thursday
Friday.
we went out for drinks after signing.
Okay, yeah.
So Friday morning, all hell starts breaking loose with the loan and with everything. And I'm like, he's like, "Dude, I think I jinxed it." I'm like, "I told you guys, man, we don't drink till it's done." Like, it's not. Then finally we got everything done on the buy side. We're like, "Okay, we're ready to go." All of a sudden, something comes up on the seller side. And they're like, "I don't think we're going to be able to record today."
And we're talking a $9.5 million closing.
Correct.
Like,
but
and a ton of moving pieces.
Yeah, there's so many moving parts. I don't even know how, like, it was just crazy.
This is like when you open that like Christmas box or whatever, and Santa gives you like a 8,000 piece Lego.
That's what it is.
That you got to put together with one hand.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. But then I called the other agent, and we kind of talked it through and figured it out.
Good old chapstick.
Yeah, chapstick. We figured it out, and then Saturday morning, we actually get to the property to drop off the straps because everything was still in my car. And he's walking the properties. We walked the properties together and looked at some stuff, and looked at some of the vacant units and stuff. And he's like, "I didn't realize how much work I have." And I'm like, "We knew what we were getting." Yeah, and I'm like, "We knew what we were getting into." He goes, "But I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think you were going to get it done."
That's got to be a good feeling, though. Because you told him before, "Hey, listen, that was a hefty ask because at one point you're sitting on $100,000 EMD, and so when you start talking about commercial deals, residential deals, once we get into contract, a lot of people think that as a real estate agent, well, what's your job now? Okay, like well, you know, like all you got to do is negotiate a little bit here, watch
Right.
the contracts, and maybe on the surface level there are some agents that do that, and those are the agents that you saw the reports that came out like last week over the weekend. What is it, like 49% of agents sell one house?
Right.
Those are the agents that do that.
Exactly.
Right. But the good agents, you know, and part of our major part of our job at that period is to protect the EMD at all time. Like we are literally the offensive line trying to keep Mahomes, trying to keep, you know, Josh Allen on their feet. Like that's
Lamar,
our EMD
right.
money,
Yep,
like,
yep.
right? So and you told him like, listen, just stay behind me. I got you. So
Right.
I mean, that was a heck of a comment to put out there.
Yeah, yeah, and like
100 grand on the line.
And it was funny because he said like the last week or so, there were some of the other moving parts. So the 100 turned into 250,000 he had on the line.
Right.
So now he's getting nervous because he's like, dude, that's a lot of money. Like 250,000 is a lot of money. I'm like, don't worry about it. I got you. I got you. We actually closed on Saturday. He was like, I really didn't think we were gonna get it done. Now I got to like start working overtime. So,
well, and I think what's cool, and I think what a lot of people too, like one thing with this deal that, you know, I know what's awesome about our team is that, you know, we always get to learn from each other and pick things.
Right.
And, you know, me not being obviously in the commercial world, you know, my role on our team is the residential side.
Right.
And, you know, just picking up and, you know, with our business conversations and, you know, I like to pick your brain and ask you things. And so one of the cool things that people have to remember is that when you hire the right agent, things get done, right? Because like, and I'm just thinking about this last thing is that 260 smoke detectors had to be installed.
right.
80 water straps on water heaters or earthquake straps on the water heaters had to
Yep.
be installed. All the safety bars had to have quick releases or be removed from the properties.
Correct.
Right? And some of this stuff you just can't do because you don't own the property yet. You haven't
Right.
closed on the property. And so a lot of agents, you know, instead of like flipping on that, okay, here's the problem. Where's my solution? A lot of people are like, hey, listen, we just can't do it. We can't close. Like, it's not going to make it. And these conditions were set out by the lender, the appraisers.
Right.
That had to be. So they were conditions for the appraisal. So they have to get done to fund the property.
Correct.
But, you know, coming from your side and what maybe some people don't know is that we can get what? Post-closing,
Correct.
you know, conditions met, right? And
Yeah,
so that
so-
what we did. That's what you did here, right?
Right. Yeah. So on this one, there was a couple things. So there's a storage room. One of the units is being used as storage.
Right.
So that one doesn't have a functioning bathroom or kitchen. So the appraiser put on there because they're giving us, since we went with DSCR loans, the debt service ratio loans, we ended up having to say, hey, make it all post closing. My buyer's like, hey, do you think we can get this done in time? Because he has a couple crews. I got some handymen that I use.
You bring your crew, I'll bring my crew. We'll
we'll just get everybody there and we'll just start doing this. And he was like, because the president of the lender, which never happens, right?
Yeah.
The president of the bank calls him and says, hey, we need to get this. Like, we need a guarantee that it's
So
going to
you
get
know
done.
things are getting real when the president of the bank's like, but I might need to check in on this one.
Right.
I'm going to make a couple phone calls.
So he checked in with the buyer and said, hey, look, we got to hold $100,000
right.
additional to what already the 2.8 you're putting down. We need another 100 as just a guarantee that it's going to get done. Right. And my buyer's like, okay, so we got 10 days to do it. So he's muscling through it. Now, good thing is he put it on the market. He put the vacant ones on the market on Saturday.
Okay.
Almost doubling the rent to what they're paying now.
Sure.
And he's already got a waiting list of 7 people.
Jeez.
So he'll get them filled.
Well, and that's one of those things that, you know, like you talk about, obviously lending is not something that we do in-house, right? But we have the partners to do it. Is that you start to talk about the DSCR loans and, you know, what does that mean in layman terms? It's like, hey, listen, the lenders are coming in. They want a 1-to-1 ratio. They want the rent is going to cover the mortgage and they're good. They're not looking at your debt to income. They're not looking at anything you own personally. That part doesn't even get filled out, which is really cool for these investors. And so it allows you to take a little bit more risk because then when we started calculating, I think, you know, I mean, the cash flow on this thing is into the double digits of thousands per month without getting into their business.
It's gonna
hit the double digits and times it by 3 kind of deal.
Yeah, it's going to get once the client actually gets it ready and gets it going, it's going to be a great investment. I mean, he literally walked into because of the deal we negotiated for him, and we were able to get the property because it was off market, hadn't hit the market yet, and connections. Because it's like everything. It's who you know, right? I knew this when this deal was going to hit the market before they started marketing it. We came in at a good offer, and he literally walked in with $2 million in equity.
Well, it's one of those things is that you're spot on, because we talk about relationships from our client standpoint, but we're keeping relationship with other agents that maybe we've worked with in the past that have been with our brokerage, that have moved on or whatnot. Is that when you keep those lines of communications open, when you work properly with, ethically and morally, you can get a lot more done with some of these agents. And that was a prime example. And, I was talking about it the other day, is that a lot of people always think like, oh, what can I sell it for? What can I sell it for? How much money am I going to make when I sell it? Like, those are the people that don't really get that. That's like the Band-Aid approach, right? They're looking short term. The better question is like, and you just kind of hit a nail on the head, is that you make your money when you buy the property.
100%.
And a lot of people don't realize that. They're like, okay, yeah, let me get that property. I'll fix it. I'll flip it. And what they're going for, this is going for $1 million, $1.5 million, whatever it is. I'm going to buy it for this price. Well, they haven't done the research. They haven't done the numbers. They haven't collected data. We talk about our business all the time is collect data, and then analyze it, right? Like, because if you don't buy that property right, there is no money. It doesn't matter. It's like people get focused on like the end goals, like, oh, I can sell it for $2 million. Well, it doesn't matter if you didn't buy it right and you didn't budget properly.
If you bought it for 1.8, you can sell it for 2, and you got to spend 300. It's not a deal.
And I think people lose sight of that, is that the deal is made on the front end, not on the back end. And and I think that's kind of weird for people to hear, and sometimes even to say, because you think you make them, oh, I sold, that's where I made the money. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, that is when you sold it, closed, and you got your money. But it's like, boy, if you didn't buy it right,
it's gonna be
you in the caca.
Yeah, yeah.
So are you? Go ahead.
And it gets complicated. Like it truly does.
So are we to the point where we can maybe hang out of a window, rip our shirts off, and go full Jason Kelsey style? I mean, did you see that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
The guy jumps out of the window, too. He's hanging out in the stands. I mean,
he's very athletic. He jumped out of the window and jumped right back in, like Spider-Man.
When he came back in, I was pretty impressed. I mean, the big man's got it. 13 years in the NFL.
He's
38
years old and jumping through. Dude, he's a stud. He's a stud.
We got to come after New Heights now.
What?
See if we can, get them. We're gonna, try to take over the New Heights. We're gonna be the New Heights.
The New Heights.
The New Heights. The New Heights McAfee show.
There we go.
Is that our model? Somewhere between New Heights and McAfee lies taking over the world.
Yeah. Okay. I could live in that world.
And that's a good realm.
Yeah, dude, I could live in that all day long.
But you know what's funny is what I love about both of those is that when I wasn't really familiar with the New Heights podcast until you turned me onto it, and listening to both of those, it's like, obviously New Heights is still kind of in there. I mean, they're getting bigger and bigger. Like, it's getting crazy. But it's like, it seems like what all of those good podcasts have is like, they seem to be true and authentic. And like, like you got Killer Trav in there giving Jason shit. You got McAfee giving the guys stuff. It's like, and they all seem to be, and again, obviously we're best friends with most of these people. But it seems like they're pretty true. I think that works. Like,
they're genuine.
People want to see the genuinely who you are, the authentic you. And again, it goes into like, we've talked about it before. You get all these people that says, look at this award, look at this, look at my top one. It's like, nobody cares, man. I want to know about you. Like, what is it like to work with you? What do I get when working with you? You get someone who's going to go install 260 smoke detectors, 8 things, and, say, listen, I got you when 250,000's on the line. Not many agents, like, I'll tell you what, if I got a client with 250,000, I might be puckering a little bit.
Well, then you get like you, who goes out to a walkthrough and has a list.
Yeah, right? Baby.
You have your list, and you're following your list, and hey, this isn't done. This isn't done. So, yeah, while we get the time, we get the opportunity, right, to do this and have fun and talk, and we spend a lot of time in our office, and I call our office, the fraternity house, because it's just a shit show in there.
It can be like that.
Yeah, so it's just like we get to do that, right, because that's fun. But we also, when it comes to getting business done, we get it done. Like, we get serious. Not everything's a joke. Not everything's. I mean, when things go on the line, and we have to perform, we're gonna perform. We're gonna do what we have to do. We just have fun doing it.
And I think it's one of those things like, you just got to be able to read the room. Like, have you ever seen something and you're just like, oh my God, bro, like, read the room. Like, this is not like the way you're going, the comments you're making, like, you are way off base here. And I think you're right. Is like. And it's like when I tell like even our baseball team, the 12U boys, it's like, go have fun, right? Play, like, let's have fun. It's like, oh, we got to win. Okay, well, last time I checked, winning was fun.
Yeah.
Like, just because we have fun doesn't mean it's not like you said, it's not being taken seriously. We're not grinding and getting better every day. It's like, okay, but who said that in order to be successful, you have to be the most serious person in the world and walk around, with like, hurrah, hurrah, like a robot, right? Like you said, like our clients like us because we can relate. Like I listened to you talk to that client for 2 months. There was sometimes concern, but there was sometimes laughs, and I think sometimes that that laugh, that joke, like settles them down a little bit,
Yeah.
But it is like to your point, it's like when we speak to them, we speak educated. We know what we're talking about. We put them in a good place, and yeah, ultimately we do have fun because buying a new house is fun for them. Closing on a $9.5 million with $2 million in equity and cash flowing here shortly. Double
It's fun.
digits, 1,000 months. That's fun.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
don't like. I'll take that as definition of fun.
Yeah.
And people get smug and they get bored. I don't
And there's
know, man.
times like I just have a new a client that just moved back in town. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This happened Friday was like the beginning of it. They had their house rented for years, had some damages that hurt them because they were very emotionally attached to the house. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're moving back. Um, he's in the military. Shout out to all our military people.
Yeah.
God bless you guys. Um, but he's now relocating here. He's going to be back in Vegas, and his last 3 years are going to be here. So this is going to be their forever home. And they got back, and there's damage to it, and she was heartbroken, and she came in to talk to the property manager about getting the stuff fixed. And they got me yesterday, and they walk in. Property manager comes and gets me and goes, "Hey, your client's here. If you want to say hi," I'm like, "Of course."
Right.
I walked in and it was like a big hug. They're like, "Oh my God, how it's great to see you. How's your daughter doing? How's school? How's your son doing?" So we've built relationship with all our clients. Like that's what we do. We don't just, "Hey, we sold you a house. Good luck." Or we sold you a $9.5 million property. Good luck with your property. Like
Right.
that's not what we do. Some people do that. We build relationships throughout the process of helping people and being there for them and actually caring about their money, caring about what they need to do on the house and everything about them and getting to know them. That when something happens, like her and her husband were comforted just because I walked in the room and gave him a hug.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? I have a contractor. Here's the contractor's name. I know him. I trust him. She's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Just call him. He'll take care of you. Tell him you're my clients, and I'll make sure he'll make sure to do the right thing for you." And in fact, they had a contractor look at it and they said, "Oh, we got to scrap the countertops." And that's an extra for our contractors, an extra $30,000, $20,000 just in countertops. The one I recommended said, "No, we'll just we have to replace the counters because there's water damage, but we'll just take the countertops off, put the countertops back on, and we'll handle it that way." So that's the thing. It's we build these relationships and we build relationships with people in other industries. Like we're not just saying real estate. Like this is a general contractor. You have friends in other industries. Like, "Hey, we need a favor. Let me make a phone call."
Well, I think that's hitting the nail on the head. Is that we've talked about building that team.
Right.
And it's whether it's commercial real estate, residential real estate, for it's admin, whether it's video, whether it's marketing, whether it's admin. It's like, man, to have the contractor, an HVAC guy, a pool guy, having all these people at our disposal to where we can dispatch them is it's unbelievable. I mean, and again, it's the relationship you build, and it goes beyond work. Like I had a buddy who I coached with, I don't know, it was a few months ago or whatever. He goes, "Hey, because you know of any baseball fields I can use tonight?" Like because they all get reserved.
Right.
Because I was like, it's like, hold on, give me 5 minutes. Right? It's like because he knows like I'm in that world, and so I
Right.
make a phone call. It's like, "Hey, you can use this one at this time." Blah blah blah. He's like, "Really? Okay." But it's to the point. It's like it goes beyond just the workplace, and it goes into like our networking group that we belong to. It's like the motto is givers gain, and it's like as you go and you continually give, you gain these relationships, you gain this reputation, to where I've gotten 2 clients, 3 clients in the last week and a half that have just been referred to me. Like I even asked somebody, they sent me a text message, just like it's like, "Hey, by net unfamiliar number, unfamiliar." It's like, "Hey, by the way, like trying to figure out who they were. I wasn't sure if it was a scam or not, because we all get those like, "Were you referred?" "Oh yeah, so and so referred to me." And I'm just like, thankful for those relationships, and you just can't take those for granted. And I think that's what separates our team and our business from others. There's some good teams out there. We have some good teams that we know and stuff, and they're awesome people. But when people think real estate, Right now, they think, I got to get on the phones. I got to be calling 8 hours a day. I got to call every for sale by owner, every expired, every notice of default, every farm, whatever. It's like you're just picking up the phone and throwing darts all day, which, there's sometimes that you got to do that. And for some people, they like that. But for us, it's like we pick up the phones to be proactive for the clients we already have.
Right.
And that leads to more business because we do our job the right way. We lay out the platform for them so that they're excited to tell people about us. And so when we're on the phones, it's being proactive to, market their property. Go find a buyer. We found buyers for properties before they hit the market at fair value prices. It's not like, like we're fulfilling our fiduciary requirement. Like we're getting them good deals, but we don't have to go through all the trials and tribulations of the other stuff that some people are doing because of those relationships.
And I think that one of the things that you mentioned was building a team, right? And everybody thinks building a team is a real estate team.
Right.
It's building a team of people building a network. That's why I love that we came up with the Ogre Network, right? Because it's a network.
Right.
Shout out to Fidelity and the network we've built with them.
Right.
That we can ask them for title situations and help them. Fidelity was the one that closed this big deal, and without Fidelity, it would have never happened. So shout out to them. They've really come up to the plate to help us out and get things done in situations to get transactions completed that have been difficult ones.
Well, it's interesting that you said that because, Sam was in the office the other day and we sat and talked to her.
Right.
And we were having a conversation. We're like, man, just what you're doing is awesome. Like, she comes in, she checks on us once on how things are doing. She constantly builds that relationship. And I think that's why Fidelity makes such a good partner because their business seems to be aligned with ours. Like it's family, it's relationships, just like you said. And, sometimes it takes time. And I think that's what discouraged a lot of agents now is that they got in during the boom, the 2020 post-COVID, you can throw a rock and be a real estate agent and sell a house because somebody was selling a house.
And Sam and you got Girl Scout cookies.
And we bought Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, those will be in soon.
And I got suckered into buying another set of
and those will be in soon. But, it's man, it just comes down to it. It's like people just need to stop overthinking it. They need to slow down, have fun, build relationships, and do their job.
Collect the data. You're the data king.
Man, you got it because it just helps you make your next move, right?
That's it.
If you're going to take over the world, you got to have a plan. Well, I know you don't.
Right.
Your plan is to take over the world.
Right.
I'm trying to connect the dots a little bit so that we don't get in our spaceship and just start making U-turns and circles.
You make it easier, right? Because I just say, this is what I want to do. And you're like, okay, let me plan this out.
You're the guy trying to take over the world stuck in the roundabout. And I'm just like, I shut one of them so that you have to keep going that way. But yet you're the driver and you get us there.
Right.
I just every once in a while have to navigate us. Like, okay, we got to turn here.
You have to navigate a bit.
But you got your foot on the gas getting us there.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck with the kids today. Good luck on your closings this week.
That's right. We got a big week for the Ogre Network.
Let's do this.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. You got it.